to show you the new way to set up Propresenter for Sunday mornings or really any other kind of event that we're doing. So first thing you want to do is right up here, right next to library, there's this little plus button. You want to click that, and then you want to go down to Planning Center Service. So we used to have just a template that we would do and then just rebuild it every week. But now what I think we want to start doing is making it a little bit easier. When you hit Planning Center Service, this will show all of the different events types that we do. So the high school, junior high, Millersburg campus, Sugar Creek campus. Berlin campus uses the one called Sunday Gathering. If you open Sugar Creek, you'll notice they have their own Sunday Gathering and other things. But for us, at Berlin, we either use Sunday Gathering, special events, celebrations of life, weddings, and Wednesday night of worship. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and do a Sunday morning. I already did this week, so we'll use next week's, so November 27th. So I'll click that down in the bottom right. I'll hit select, and you'll see it pop in all of these different items that we have for that week. The big idea, you can just hide that item. That one doesn't need to be there. So what's nice about this is it automatically brings in headers. So pre-gathering, welcome, music, message. We could add another music there and close. And then underneath those, you got each thing for that part of the gathering. So pre-gathering loop would be our pre-gathering slides. Countdown will be our countdown. Welcome and announcements be our welcome announcements slides. On we go. So what I want to show you is how easy this can be. So for next steps, if I want to bring that in, I go up here to the library called Other, and then I simply take the next step slides and just drag it over on top of that, and boom, we got that there. So then is Jesus is Better. Go to the songs, down to J eventually. Jesus is Better, and just drag it right on in. Go ahead and just remove all of those. So then we got message, so other message notes, right on over. An update, so that will probably not have anything different other than just using the message lighting cue, so we'll probably just leave that. I'm just going to go ahead and do all the other ones. So call to worship, slide that in there. Welcome and announcements will be welcome slides, countdown, and pre-gathering slides. Right now there is some of these that are duplicated because the kids are in here on Wednesday night and they're using our computer, so that's why there's some extra stuff. Once they're done with that and the construction is done, we'll get rid of those. So that is that. Now we need to do some songs. I like to go bottom to top because I'll show you here in a little bit. If I do Victory in Jesus, you'll see that all the others just disappeared. So now I have to scroll down. It's a small thing, but it's how I prefer to do it. So I'll do Oh Praise the Name. That'll go below, and then I still have Speak to the Mountains available to see. So I'll just drag that in there. Bazinga. Now we have our stuff in there. So the next thing I want to make sure we do is go up and go to View and down to Calendar. So in Calendar, it'll say Upcoming. And normally for you, it'll be the first two. So first gathering, countdown, second gathering, countdown. For this example, I'm doing a week ahead, so it'll actually be the 27th. You'll see the date there. And so I'm going to go in, click on first gathering, countdown, and then the action that I want it to do is playlists, November 27th, and then I want to go to countdown. So click on countdown, only this event, and then test it, and you'll see it go to our playlist here, and it'll play the countdown automatically at 8:25 a.m. So then I want to go ahead and do the same for second gathering. Maybe. There we go. Action playlists, November 27th, countdown. Only this event, test. And it's working. So now I can X out of that. All right, so the next thing that we need to look at is these little guys on our slides. So we need to make sure that once we do the welcome, the first thing that's on there is a macro. So edit, actions, other, start. Okay, so what a macro is, if you come over here and click this M, is it is one single command that controls multiple commands, if that makes any sense. So for other start, I have a timer that starts so that they know how long they've been talking, and then I have a stage display change as well so that they can see the slides that they're talking about. So the way that that is set up is using the confidence monitor, which is the monitor on the back wall, using welcome, announcements, other. So what that does is it gives them, let me see, give me 1 second here. It gives them a space to see the slide. It tells them anytime, like if they're up there and there's a video countdown or something like this guy here, it will show the video countdown. Right now we're not really too worried about it because for them it's not very common. Then it also gives them the time as well as starts counting how long they've been up there. So that way they can kind of know, hey, I've been up here 2 minutes, it's time to wrap this up, or hey, I've only been up here 30 seconds, I can keep going. So that's helpful for them. So that's why we use macros. Macros controls our stage displays as well as timers so that the people who are on stage can know about how long they've been going. So we have macros for coming from the countdown to the welcome. So that would be, I'm going to go ahead and just remove all of these so I can show you. So that would be add action down to macro, other, start. So other is the welcome, the close, any kind of commissionings or updates, things like that. So other, start, and then add another action. So now we need to add the lighting cues to this slide. So communication, MIDI note on. We're going to turn off, so channel 2, the first cue, intensity 127. And then we're going to add another action, which turns on channel 1, our welcome cue, which is 1. So we have that. We're not going to put anything on the call to worship because we're going to use the same lighting cue for that as well as the same timer. So that's all included in one. So then we get down to music. So here I want to add another macro. So this macro will need to be other to worship. So whenever we transition from welcome or any kind of other segment that isn't the message or worship, we need to use other to worship or other to message, okay? So other to worship, that'll set a timer for that, and then we can add our lighting cues. I'm just gonna throw stuff on here because I can. All right, and then down to the next song, we need to make sure it's in the right order, and then we need to add our lighting cues again. So communication, MIDI, I don't know, I think it was 10. So 2 lighting cues per song, per everything actually. Do the same here, you know the drill. 2 more lighting cues. So then when we get to the message here, we actually have an update which would technically be our other timer so that we know how long that lasts. So what I'm going to do is go to other, and I am going to simply put, maybe I'll have to make a new one. We'll just call it really matter. Oh. How's that? So then I can go back to our playlist here, and I can drag in the timer and lighting cues. Dang it. Oops. There. So now I can add another macro, which goes from worship to other. So worship to other. Then I can go ahead and do the message lighting here because we're not going to change the message lighting. So turn off the worship cue, turn on the message cue. 1, D22, 127. Then I can go ahead and remove these MIDI note ons. So you'll notice that when you drag in the message notes, it automatically has a macro there. You shouldn't ever have to remove it, but you may have to edit it. So right now, this is right. We're going other to message, so that's proper. So we're going to leave that lighting cue, and then for this song, we're going to want to go and add another macro, which is message to worship. Then we add our lighting cues. You know the drill on the lighting cues by now. And then we have our next steps. So the next steps, there's already a macro there, but we always want to make sure that if we go from worship to next steps, we're using the action worship to other. And I usually keep the lighting cue from the worship segment for that. And then I just add another macro on the last slide here that does close. So close basically shuts off all timers and restarts them all. And then I have the lighting cues there as well. So I hope that makes sense. If it doesn't, please ask. The last thing that I kind of forgot to mention and I wanted to mention is whenever you see this guy right here, this little calendar looking thing, that lets you know that you have a calendar action enabled on that playlist. So that lets you know that, hey, the countdown is going to automatically go with 5 minutes to go. So that's how you can know whether or not you set your calendar thing or not. Other than that, I simply want to add another header. Music down here so that I can kind of see that broken up over here. And I think that's it. Let me know if you have any questions. Oh, one more thing I remember. If you click this little guy right here, looks like a clipboard. If you click on that, sometimes I have some preset kind of notes already. So like for the welcome, we like to come out of the 5-minute countdown about 2 seconds early so that it gives time for the lights to fade up. So that's always there, but you can add your own operator notes, they call them, where you can type in, something like that, where you just want to remind yourself, hey, this song is fast, this one isn't, but that's okay. Or it's slow, anything that might help you, you can add those in. And occasionally you'll find that I have added some in already so that you can kind of know what I'm expecting or what we're expecting, how to transition. So yeah, hopefully that's helpful. Let me know if you have any questions. This is a new way to do it. I like it better. I think it's a little bit easier. But yeah, thanks a bunch.